Hello friends, today I'm going to take you back to the history in 1984 where Emil Joseph Diemer, it's a German grandmaster, was playing a game against Thomas Heiling, and this game was very famous for its for its 17 consecutive pawn openings from the white. So that's, you can search this game on the internet. It's called the Immortal Pawn Games, where white starts with d4, knight to f6, f3. So that's an Indian opening, and now d6. Sorry, d6. So that's the lion variation of the Indian opening, and then e4, e4, where g6. So black is trying to prepare Fiancato's bishop, and then g4. So that's already, see, it's move number 4, and it's very aggressive. So here, bishop to g7, and then g5, kicking the knight straight away. So where the knight can go, of course knight can go to h5, but that's very passive. The Sorry, not this one. uh, the All of those squares are already blocked, so knight moves to d7, where f4. So white has continuing advances as pawns. So at this position, black played c5. So it's tried to break the pawn chain, but d5 from the white. So b5, and then c3 because white wants to block this dark squared bishop's diagonal, and then a6 from the black, and then h4. So after h4, that's move number 9, and you can see all of the minor pieces are still intact, but then knight to b6 and h5 from the white. So of course you don't want to capture this, because then on the black will have a double pawn onto the h file. So he played e6. So he wanted to break the this so he wanted to break this chain, but then h6 from the white, forcing the bishop to go back to bishop to f8, and then uh, a a4 from the white. So here at this position, okay, black decides enough is enough, and he takes d5, where a5. So at the moment, white denied to capture the pawn at d5. Instead, he tried to kick this knight again to knight to d7, and now if you can see, the white's position is already very scrambled, right? So the only pieces you can develop is bishop to b7 and this bishop to e7, and that's about it. You cannot move any other piece of any other minor piece at all. So here at this position, e takes d5, where bishop goes to e7. So the idea is to push f7, f6 at some point, and now c4 from the white, right? So here, black moved f6, as I explained it a little bit earlier, but here at this position, c takes b5, but black, instead of capturing this, because then it will it will be a pass pawn for the on a file. Black says f takes g5, where white again denied to capture this pawn, and played f5, where g takes f5. And now what happens, what results into this capture? The first, it's a move number 18, and white moves his queen to h5, and it's a check. So there is no other way to move the king, else than to move the king to king f8. And now, uh, knight to f3. So white is attacking onto the pawn at g5. So b6 was rook to g8 was played, and now b6. So now this pawn is become very difficult to stop. It's a pass pawn, and it has also been defended by the pawn at a5. Now, on this position, uh, bishop to b7 was played, because of course you want to stop this pawn advancing as well. You are attacking onto this on the pawn at d5. So knight to c3, and then knight to f6, forking pawn and the queen. So knight here at this position, uh, knight takes g5. So it's not really a queen sacrifice. Knight takes h5, and then knight takes e6, and it's a check. So you move the king to e8, and then knight takes the queen here at this position. Of course, if you capture the knight, I will capture the knight as well. uh, but here, so black has found another intermediary move, knight to g3, so forking the rook and the bishop. But here, white is not really worried about the rook. So he captured knight takes b7, where knight takes h1, and then bishop to f4. So now the attack is on the d6 pawn, uh, where rook to g6 is coming on to defend this pawn, but long castle from the white, and knight to f2. So there's an attack on the rook. So rook moves to e1, and then king to d7. So king is going to capture the knight, but at this position, white the Emil has come up with a very creative idea. He played knight to b5. So friends, I like you to pause the video here and see, can this knight be captured here. Ready? um, no, this knight cannot be captured here. So if you capture this knight, say a takes b5, then bishop takes b5 will come as a check, and then you have no other option to move the king to c8, but then rook takes e7 is coming, and then there is no answer to rook to c7 checkmate. So friends, this this knight at b5 cannot be captured. So instead, knight to e4 was played, but here Emil again sacrifices his rook and played rook to e4. So friends, can it pause the video again here and try to find out, is it really a rook sacrifice? Can you capture this rook? A takes e4. Ready? No, of course you cannot capture. Say if you capture f takes e4, but then bishop to h3 check will come, and you see the squares e6 is blocked. Similarly, c6 is blocked, c7 is blocked, c8 is blocked, d8 is also blocked. So the only piece place where the king can go is king to e8, but then knight to c7 will fork the king and the rook. So of course you cannot capture this rook at e4. So Thomas played rook to g1, pinning this bishop. Now this rook can also be captured, and this knight can also be captured. So Emil first played rook to e1, defending this bishop, but Thomas has captured and sacrifices rook. So rook takes f1, where rook takes f1 again. So now the black is an exchange down, but has captured a takes b5. So at this position, rook to g1. So the rook lift is available now. So the king moves to c8, and king is trying to capture this knight. There is no other place for the knight to go. Of course, you can move the rook to g7, um, but here at this position, Emil played knight to d6, where bishop takes d6, bishop takes d6, and now knight to d7. So rook to g8 check. Um, so king moves to b7. That's the only square available for the white for the black. And here at this position, black has tried to exchange the rooks, but of course not. So rook to g7, and which will also pin the knight as well. So king goes back to c8, and then here at this position, rook takes h7. Now the pass pawn here is also available at h5. So here rook takes a5, and then uh, and now b7 check. So can you capture this king? Of course not, because then this knight will be fall. But what else can you do? Can you move the king to d8? Of course not, because rook to h8 check would be a beautiful checkmate. So you have no other option than to capture the pawn at b7, and ultimately you lose the knight. So rook takes d7, and it's a check again. So king moves to c8. But here, what happened is now Emil played h7. So the queen is going to be promoted, the pawn is going to be promoted to the queen. There is a way to defend it. Is there any way? So let's see. Rook a1 check, king to c2, and now king to king takes. Here can you go to say, rook h1? So I'll show you. So if you try to go to h1, but then rook to f7, and this pawn has been defended, and now whatever you play, say for example you play king to d8, but then rook to f8 check is coming, and you move the queen, the king, and then the queen will be on the board anyways. And if you capture it, then you will lose the bishop, and ultimately you lose the game. So here at this position, king Thomas has not tried to go on this line. He immediately captured. King takes d7, but now h8 to queen, and Thomas also captured the bishop. So king takes d6, but now queen to d8 check. King moves to e5, and now d6, and at this position the black has resigned, because of course there is no way you can defend from here, or even you cannot draw from here. um, the say I show you one simple line. Queen to e6 is also on the cards. You move the king, and then there is no stopping d pawn as well. So friends, that's all from my side. Let me know how you like this video. Till then, take care. Bye bye.